Hello everyone, Planet Master here, and welcome back to another guide. Today I'll be going over how to get started with Ender IO. Now, let's hop right into it. First things first, you're going to need to power all of your items. And for that, you'll need a Stirling Generator. Now, to make a Stirling Generator, you need 5 stone bricks, 2 basic gears, a piston, and a furnace. Now, to make these basic gears, all you need is 4 stone and 4 sticks, 4 cobblestone and 4 sticks. And if you get 2 of those, you'll have a Stirling Generator. Now, the Stirling Generator is the basic way of how to start having power in Ender IO. And when you have power, you can power all the machines. Now, the Stirling Generator uses solid fuel, such as coal, charcoal, lava, and blaze rods. And they each have their own different amounts of energy they produce. Now, if we come back here, we have what each of them generate. Now, they all generate 20 RF per tick, but coal and charcoal will generate a total of 16,000 RF. Lava bucket will generate 200,000 RF. And a blaze rod will generate 24,000 RF. So depending on what your circumstance is and what you can get an easier amount of, really depends on what you power it with. Start off, I use a lot of charcoal because all you need is cut down trees and they're everywhere. But if you're playing on like a skyblock and you have a blaze farm or you have a way to generate lava, they will be your better bet. Now, we have power. What can we actually power with it? That will be the basis of Ender IO, and that is your alloy smelter. Now, to make an alloy smelter, you need 3 furnaces, 4 iron in the corners, cauldron at the bottom, and a machine chassis. Now, to make this machine chassis, you need 4 iron in the tops and the sides, iron bars in the corners, and a basic capacitor in the middle. Now, how do you make the basic capacitor? That is simple. All you need are 4 gold nuggets in the top and the sides, a copper in the middle, and redstone in the top right and bottom left corners, and you can work your way back up to the alloy smelter. Now, the alloy smelter is the basis of all Ender IO because you need it to make all of the alloys needed for more of the complex machines. And if we come over here, you have a fully powered alloy smelter with a fully powered Stirling Generator and a fully powered alloy smelter. Now, if we go into alloy smelter, there's a number of things you can do with it. You have 3 inputs because at most the recipes will require 3 different materials. They get processed and put down here in the center. Now, on the side here, you have different items. You have redstone mode, which by default is set to always active. But if you want, you can have it set to be on if it receives a redstone signal, or you can have it set on if it does not receive a redstone signal. Depending on what your situation is and if you want to set up a large factory, that is up to you. The next one we have is configure. And if we click that, it gives us this little 3-dimensional item here. And we can select how we can push and pull items. If I want to have items coming through the back through a pipe, I have it pull through pipe, or if I want to put a chest there, it will pull items in. And if I want to push to the side items, it will push items to that chest. And if you have such as other items around and you have a line of these 3 in a row, you can have it pull from one to the other. Now, that is configure. And to change this, if let's say I want to put a chest on the top, I right click to pull from the top and it pushes from the side. If I don't want it to pull from the back, I can right click to where it either says disabled, such as if I have a line of pipes running across the back, it will not connect to the pipes. Or I can just have none, and it will be none. Now, next up is recipes. And all this is it tells you all the recipes you can use to make it, which a lot of these are basic smelting, such as if I put wood in it, I get charcoal, or if I get whatever this item is from Nuclearcraft, I get that item from Nuclearcraft. And it has a total of, as you can see, about 260 some odd items. Well, actually, 360 some odd items. So it has a lot of things it can be used for, but if you have NEI, or you can just check the wiki. So that's that. The last one is the smelting modes, or furnace mode, which is in furnace mode it will have all smelting. If I switch the furnace mode to alloys only, if I have alloys set up, it will have the inputs and they will come out as an output of only alloys. So if I want to make if I would like to make bronze, I put copper dust and tin dust in, and it will give me bronze without having to worry if I put too much in, and it will just start coming out with copper or tin. Vice versa, if I have furnace only and I want to put copper and tin in here, they will both go in and they will not create bronze. Or I can have it to all smelting, and if I put an amount of copper and tin in, it will create the bronze, but then it would churn out the separate copper or tin, whichever one you have excess of. And however you want to set this up in your factories or your production lines, you can have them set to various modes. On the left here, we have the power and this little slot for capacitors. And I will go exactly how to use the capacitors in later videos. But the way on basic, what they do is they make it more efficient, quicker, and can hold more power. Again, the specifics I'll go over in a later video. Now, this is all in good setup, but if I want to make it more advanced, like I have over here, I have 3 Stirling Generators going into this Capacitor Bank, feeding into an alloy smelter and a sag mill. Now, a lot of this I haven't gone over, but this is a good way to set up. Now, I have these energy conduits to power everything. Now, you might be wondering how to make those. You're going to need your good old alloy smelter, and this is where the alloys start. If you put 1 redstone and 1 iron through an alloy smelter, you get conductive iron, and that is used to make the basic energy conduits. And again, 1 redstone and 1 iron will give you 1 conductive iron. Now, to make the energy conduits, you need 3 of those and 6 of these conduit binders, and that will give you 8 pieces of conduit, such as in the example I have 4 used, so I can still use 4 more. Now, to make the conduit binders, first you need is binder composite, and that is made with 6 pieces of gravel on the top and the bottom, 1 clay in the center, and a sand on either side. And again, that will give you 8 pieces of binder composite. Now, to make the conduit binder, you need to take binder composite, put it through any furnace, and that will give you the conduit binder, and that gives you 8 pieces of conduit binder, because you can put in 8 pieces of binder composite per recipe. So from 1 recipe you get enough to make 8 pieces of conduit with 2 left over. So if you make them in mass quantities, you can get mass quantities of conduit out. And these binder conduits aren't only used for energy conduits, they are also used for fluid items and other types of conduits depending on what mods you have installed and what companion mods with them. And that's where you can use to have your Stirling generators hooked up to your basic capacitor to your machines. Now, the last two bits of machines we have is the sag mill and the basic capacitor bank. Now, the sag mill will work like your crusher or your pulverizer or your macerator from other mods, and to make that you need 3 pieces of flint, 4 pieces of iron, a machine chassis like we made earlier, and a piston. And that gives you your sag mill. And again, if you go in here, the only differences, there are no different furnace modes, but you have your power on the left here, your input here, and 4 different outputs. And this little bugger. Now, if we go into recipes, we can see what all those are used for. If you put an item in, such as this large bone segment, you get 24 bone meal. But if you go to other ones like, oh, I want to put quartz stairs in and get quartz out, I will get 2 pieces of quartz guaranteed, but then there is a 25% chance I can get 2 more. And if I want to increase that chance, I can use flint or a dark steel ball. Now, flint is your basic starting point because that is easy to get. That means you have a higher chance to get the basic quartz out, but whatever bonuses, such as the 2 pieces of extra quartz, I also have another increased chance of getting that. But it also reduces how much power is used per recipe. Now, it gives you the recipe here of this takes 3,000 and this gives you, this needs 1,200. And that will reduce it by a set amount. But if I want to create a dark steel ball, this increases it even more with the main output being higher, the bonus output being higher, and the power reduction being higher. But these are harder to get because you need dark steel, and we will go over how to get dark steel in a later video. So stick with steel and it will give you better chances of outputs, which is very useful. Now, let's come over to this, the Capacitor Banks. And to make them, you need 1 block of redstone, 4 pieces of iron, and 4 basic capacitors. And you can make 1 basic capacitor bank. And that will hold 1 million RF. But if you want to get more power, you can make more of them and create, well, this wall I have here. Now, this total wall holds 6 million RF because it's 6 connected capacitor banks. And this is very nice because if on the higher tiers, if you don't have the materials to get to the higher tiers, such as if you need like 10 diamonds and you only have 9, then you can have 6 of these set up and you get 6 million, while only 1 higher tier only gives you 5 million. Now, and if I want, I'm like, oh, I have 6 million, but I want to hold 9 million. I can just do 1, 2, and 3, and there we go. Now this holds 9 million, 1 million each. And you can put almost as many as you want on here. It's just the higher tiers are more efficient with their power, but these will still work fine. And if you want to configure these, you can go in. Now if I want power to come in with redstone on or off, then I can do that. Same with the output. Again, it's like most machines. Again, they're set to always active, so power will always go in and come out. Then you have your configure. With this, it's slightly absurd because it centers on whatever block it deems the center. And you have this whole thing, but still you can pull, push, disable, and none. Again, like all of the others. And you can do this for the entire thing. If I do 1 on the top, bring it up, 1 on the bottom, But if I have it set in an area and I don't want to see these blocks, I can press this button. And there you go, it all disappears and I only have my big capacitor wall. And again, you can upgrade these to higher tiers to get more power and become more efficient. And if you go back in here, these 4 little outputs are for batteries. So if you have items you need to charge, such as you can see on my side here, there are armor that you can charge and weapons, you can just throw them in here and they will charge. So that is all you need for your basic capacitor bank. Now, one thing you're going to need is you have all of these items, but if you want to move them efficiently, you can use a pickaxe. But let's say I have this capacitor bank full of 9 million RF. If I use a pickaxe, there goes all that RF. So you're going to need this, a Yeta wrench. And if I come over here, this is how you make it. You need 3 pieces of 3 pieces of electrical steel, and 1 basic gear. And now to make electrical steel, you're going to need silicon, coal powder, and iron. To make the coal powder, you just pulverize coal, and you can do that through putting it through a sag mill. To get silicon, now silicon is an interesting item to get. You can put sand through a sag mill, but the base chance of getting it is 50%. With a dark steel ball and flint, it will be higher, or you can use clay, which gives it an 80% chance of coming out. Again, higher if you have flint or a dark steel ball, but again, they're not guaranteed. If you have mods such as thermal expansion or mechanism, the crusher and the pulverizer gives you basically 1 for 1 sand for 1 silicon. So if you have those mods installed, build one of those if you want to make a lot of electrical steel, because that is highly recommended. And again, you put all those in to get out 1 piece of electrical steel. Okay, now let's go back over to my setup. Now again, I built 3 Stirling Generators, 8 pieces of the Conduit, but I only used 4, 1 Capacitor Bank, 1 Alloy Smelter, and 1 Sag Mill. Now, this is how, the few times I have started with Ender.io, this is how I set up. Stirling Generators are pretty cheap, and if you mine enough, you can get ambient amount of coal, or you can make charcoal from other furnaces. And if you get an alloy smelter, the return rate is pretty well for the power needed to create charcoal to how much you can get out. So I highly recommend using coal or charcoal to power it, unless you have easy way to get large amounts of lava or blaze rods, or you simply realize I don't want to make Stirling Generators, I want to move on. That is fine as well. But if you want to double your ores, or just simply get more ores, you can put them through a sag mill, put the ore in here, throw some flint or a dark steel ball to get your ores out. I have this set up to, if I put ores in here, it will push the output into the alloy smelter, or I can just have it pulled straight from it. You can have it set, I always set both to make it easier to use. I have it set to all smelting, but if I realize, you know what, I'm only going to use this for ore processing, I'm going to set it to furnace only. Now, let's say, I don't like how this is set up. I don't like how we have an alloy smelter and then a sag mill. I want to have it the other way around. So I simply pick up my Yeta wrench. If I shift or right click, I have picked up my alloy smelter. And if I shift right click, I have picked up my sag mill. Now again, I simply place these back down in the order I want. In the order I want. So all I need to do is put the sag mill, put the ores in here, and it goes to the alloy smelter here. and these have remained their configuration and power. Now, the configuration is important because it has it set to a specific side. If I come in here, it will now push still to the left, or what this deems it as the west. And this pulls from the east. So that is pretty tricky if you want to move these around a lot. You're really going to have to worry about that. So I will have to go back into configure, drop this back to none or disabled, and have it set to push here. Come over to the alloy smelter, open this, whoops, pull and disable this side, just in case if I have other machines set on either side and they get the wrong materials. And this is all you really need to know for getting started in Ender.io. Not a lot of materials, but this will help you go far in the long run. Now, thank you all for watching. I'm Planet Master, and have a stellar day. Goodbye.